this presentation, the two companies that we will be focusing on are 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad and Mynews Holdings Berhad. For the 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad, its primary operation is to run and franchise stores for convenience. This company began its operation around the year 1984 with a significant presence in rural as well as urban locations. 7-Eleven company had appeared in Bursa Malaysia's main industry list, and this convenience store provide a wide variety of merchandise such as beverages, snacks, as well as other everyday items. Meanwhile, Mynews Holdings Berhad company's primary operation is by focuses on the acquisition and operation of an array of convenience shop and its own productions. This convenience store began its operation in the year of 1997 and has grown dramatically to develop into one of Malaysia's biggest retail chains. Mynews company as well appears on Bursa Malaysia's main market list. This particular convenience store provides a wide variety of merchandise like halal packages food, cuisines and magazines.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURUL and for today I will be presenting 7E Malaysia Holdings Berhad versus Mynews Holdings Berhad performance analysis based on liquidity ratio. After computing into the formula, which is current asset over current liability, for every 1 ringgit of current liability, 7E Malaysia Holdings Berhad has 810 ringgit and 42 cents of current assets, while Mynews Holdings Berhad has only 19 cents of current asset to repay for their current liabilities. Next is for quick or acid test ratio, which can be calculated by current asset minus inventory minus prepayment or current liability. For every 1 ringgit of current liability, 7E Malaysia Holdings Berhad has 157 ringgit and 47 cents of liquid assets, while Mynews Holdings Berhad has negative 116 ringgit and 55 cents of liquid assets to repay for their current liabilities.
Now we will be moving on to the profitability ratio for the two companies, namely 7-Eleven and Mynews company. Note that all calculations are referred to the statement of profit or loss and statement of financial positions from the two companies respectively based on the Bursa Malaysia's annual report website. Firstly, the gross profit ratio, where the formula is shown here, and the gross profit for both 7-Eleven company and Mynews company are 100%. This indicates that both companies are equally effective in generating gross profit from their sales. Next, the profit ratio, where the formula is shown here, and the net profit ratio for both 7-Eleven company and Mynews company are 67.1% and 0.3% respectively. This indicates that 7-Eleven company is significantly better in terms of net profit ratio, as it generates, with the cost of 67 cents, net profit for every 1 ringgit of sales, whereas the Mynews company generates no net profits. Furthermore, the return of capital employed, where the formula is shown here, and the return of capital employed for both 7-Eleven company and Mynews company are 4.1% and 0% respectively. This indicates that 7-Eleven company is better by generating 4 cents operating profit for every 1 ringgit of capital employed, while Mynews company generates no operating profit from its capital. Lastly, the return of assets, where the formula is shown here, and the return on assets for both 7-Eleven company and Mynews company are 2.8% and 0% respectively. This indicates that 7-Eleven company is better by earning 3 cents for every 1 ringgit of assets, while Mynews company earns nothing from its assets.
Next is the efficiency ratio. For the inventory turnover, 7-Eleven Malaysia has replaced its average inventory 6.5 times, while Mynews Holdings Berhad has replaced its average inventory 6 times. This indicates that 7-Eleven shows a better inventory turnover. For average collection period, 7-Eleven Malaysia able to collect its debt within 50 days of the accounting period, while Mynews Holdings Berhad is able to collect its debt within 2 days of the accounting period. This shows that Mynews Holdings Berhad has better average collection period. Lastly, total assets turnover. For 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad, the interpretation is for every 1 ringgit of average total assets, this company can generate 4 cents net sales. While for Mynews Holdings Berhad, this company can generate 0 ringgit net sales. So this indicates that 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad has better total assets turnover.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURONIE BINTI ZOLKEFLEY. So I explain about the performance analysis for leverage or capital structure ratio. So for the debt ratio for 7-Eleven is were financed by debt 30.6%. For Mynews, the assets were financed by debt 0.1%. For the debt to equity ratio, for the 7-Eleven, the contribution of creditor is only 44% from contribution of investor, and for the Mynews, the contribution of creditor is only 279.8% from contribution investor. And next, for the time interested earned for 7-Eleven Holdings Berhad, for every ringgit interest payment by the company, it has 3.3 times of earning before interest and tax to pay for it. For the Mynews, for every 1 ringgit interest payment by the company, it has 0 times of earning before interest and tax to pay for it.
So in conclusion, in terms of liquidity, 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad has higher liquidity compared to Mynews Holdings Berhad based on the calculation of current ratio and quick ratio. In terms of profitability, 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad shows higher profitability compared to Mynews Holdings Berhad based on the net profit ratio, return of capital employed, and return on assets ratio. However, the gross profit ratio between these companies is the same. In terms of efficiency, 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad indicates higher efficiency based on the inventory turnover ratio and total assets turnover ratio. However, Mynews Holdings Berhad indicates higher average collection period ratio compared to 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad. And lastly, in terms of leverage, Mynews Holdings Berhad has higher leverage based on the debt ratio and time interest earned. However, 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad has better leverage based on the debt to equity ratio.
As a potential supplier and investor, the company that will be chosen is 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad. The selected 7-Eleven company depends on its company liquidity, profitability, efficiencies, and leverage ratio when compared with the new Mynews Holdings Berhad company. At the liquidity ratio, 7-Eleven shows that the company has a higher ratio than the Mynews company due to its current ratio and quick ratio. The higher the ratios, the higher the liquidity, which leads to better performance in the company and makes it easier for the company to pay its creditors on time, like 7-Eleven Malaysia Holdings Berhad. Furthermore, for profitability ratio, 7-Eleven also shows a higher ratio compared to Mynews based on their gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, and return on capital employed. These ratios evaluate a business performance during the period under review. The higher profitability ratios indicate better performance. In efficiency ratio, 7-Eleven shows a higher ratio than Mynews depending on their inventory turnover, average collection period, and total asset turnover. One of the ratios can be an example, such as the average collection period for the 7-Eleven company, which can collect its debt within 50 days of the accounting period compared to the Mynews company, which can collect within 2 days. Based on this ratio, it indicates that 7-Eleven is fast and efficient in using its assets. In leverage ratios, it helps to measure the overall debt load of a company and compare it with assets or equity. 7-Eleven Holdings Berhad shows a low leverage ratio compared to Mynews Holdings Berhad based on their debt ratio, debt to equity ratio, and time interest earned. For instance, in the debt to equity ratio, 7-Eleven shows only 44% of the contribution of investor compared to Mynews, which is 279.8% more risky. In general, the higher the ratio, the more risk that company is considered to have taken on, or bankruptcy. Therefore, 7-Eleven Holdings Berhad is the best choice as a potential supplier and investor. Thank you.